I have never seen a situation to the severity of what we're talking about today end so quickly. This entire drama, this entire situation started and ended within like half a week. Now, this situation revolves allegations that were levied against Daniel Green. Daniel publishes books as well as does like commentary, analysis, all that kind of stuff that would surround, Booktube, if you will. Recently, this individual here, Naomi King, had released a video which is not on her channel anymore. Thankfully, it's all been archived, and the name of this was "I received a cease and desist from Daniel Green." In this video, she makes two large claims. Number one, that Daniel Green had SA'd her when he was on a trip visiting her in Las Vegas. And the second claim is that she had spoken up about this essay in a prior video where he then sent a cease and desist in response to that video being published. She also makes note of the fact that in that video that he sent a cease and desist for, she never mentions his name. And overall, this video was received with a resounding support to her and pretty much just everyone going after Daniel Green. Now, when this video originally came out, I was asked by one of my viewers during a live stream to take a look at the video, and it was very gut-wrenching to watch. If you guys want to watch these videos in their entirety, even the deleted ones, I'm going to attach a link in the description below that's going to have a link to all of the archived videos as well as links to the actual videos that are still standing up. Getting back to the story, after this video is released and a lot of people seem to be pretty disgruntled by what had been going on, Daniel Green releases a video. It's only a minute long, so I'm going to play it, but this was his response immediately to her video.
My name is Daniel Green. This is an important message in response to various false allegations made against me by Naomi King of alleged sexual assault in a campaign launched on YouTube and more. I had consensual sex with Naomi King. Yes, it was an affair that my then girlfriend and now fiance took several years to move on from. I also have clear and convincing evidence to prove everything was consensual. Myself and my team are now planning to sue Naomi King in a court of law. The communication Naomi King has inaccurately used against me online has greatly damaged me and others to date. I also have many other pieces of evidence which prove my innocence. Look for more communication from me based on truth and fact in the near future.
So a lot of people were not immediately super happy with this, and as a general consensus, people were saying even if these allegations weren't true, you're a cheater. And I think a lot of people were still just upset about what had been going on. But since recent things have come out, the comment section has changed drastically. Now, in response to that original video that Naomi had posted, as well as his response with the minute-long, very clearly a lawyer-prepped response in regard to what was going on, a couple other, YouTubers in the booktube scene made videos condemning Daniel Green. Notable ones came from Library of a Viking addressing the Daniel Green allegations, as well as Murphy Napier, who had made a post saying, I've unlisted all collab videos I've done with Daniel Green. And lastly, a gentleman by the name of Jackson Dickert, who posted an 8-minute video and also kind of condemning Daniel Green for other stuff. Something that I thought was interesting to note specifically about Jackson's video, condemning Daniel, he makes it kind of about a situation that he had had with Daniel where apparently Daniel was saying, hey, I'd like you to run like my channel and I'd still like to receive a small portion of revenue for you to kind of run and do the show on the business that I built up. And I just thought it was interesting that Daniel would bring up his transgressions and gripes with Daniel, and that he'd bring that up on the basis of talking about a situation where there was SA allegations. It was just very jarring to have a video talking about being so altruistic and reaching out and helping other people. For him to make it about himself, it was very interesting. But again, there will be a link to this in the description, but moving on. Now, all of these, condemnations of Daniel come out, and then Naomi releases a second video, seemingly in response to Daniel's, minute-long lawyer speech. This video immediately debunks any of the claims that she had made in regard to there not being shared consent about what was going on, and she provides screenshots as proof. Now, this video was removed not by her, as she claims. I believe what she's referring to was the inclusion of two renditions of her imitating Daniel Green masturbating. That's probably what did it. I'm not going to be showing any of that. I'm just going to cover and show to you guys the screenshots that she had included in her video. Before we jump to the screenshots, I'm also just going to take note and show you guys clips of things that people found odd about this video. She first off makes mention that she was a sugar baby for Daniel.
For all the people who are confused as to what the fuck spoil even means, I'm a sugar baby. Now, he and I were not daddy baby. He wanted to spoil me as a friend. Like, that was explicit there. I know some people are not going to understand that. Some people are going to be like, I know. Me sharing this information makes me look bad.
I'm not super up to date with my understanding of sugar baby relationships, but my assumption based off of a lot of the comments that I'd seen in regard to this was the fact that usually in a situation like that, there is a transaction of sorts where it is I am paying for you and stuff and giving you these things in exchange for intimate relations. And again, she just kind of rebuts it saying, I know people aren't going to understand that and that it makes me look bad, but there wasn't any forced transaction in that, or there wasn't any that were, you know, established in that sense. She talks about writing this 8-page letter to Daniel, essentially saying like, hey, you need to, you know, tell your girlfriend that we've been cheating on her for a long time now and it's the right thing to do, and also kind of reiterate some of the points she had made in the past. And the strange thing about this is that in the first video, she made it seem like they were just friends. To follow that up, she talks about how she went to bed with him in the same bed while she was wearing nothing.
I went to sleep first alone, and I was buck-ass naked because I always sleep naked. I've done it since I was a teenager. I cannot stand the feeling of clothes bunching around my skin and twisting as you sleep and inseams, and it's just bad. But when he got there, I put this on.
Now she asked him, do you want me to keep this on and whatnot? And he said, no, you don't have to. And again, with further context that we learn about of them, you know, kind of doing this off and on thing repeatedly over the last couple of years, makes a lot more sense why he was okay with that.
He commented on how high I looked, so I said, you want to catch up? He took half a bite of one, which would have been 10 milligrams, but that takes about an hour to kick in.
I'm showcasing that part about the edibles because in the first video, she said that he was completely sober. At this point, she has changed the milligram count of how much she has ingested or what he has ingested 3 separate times.
I was on 50 milligrams that night. You were on 10.
First of all, directly there, Naomi King is contradicting themselves, saying I was on 0, then 10. They're messaging me about taking 40 milligrams around lunchtime, and then directly state that I arrived around midnight. I had no knowledge that Naomi King was continuing to take edibles, and that contradicts what actually happened when I arrived, where they walked down to the hotel lobby in a bathrobe, greeted me, and walked me back upstairs, sober as a whistle.
She then goes on to explain the fact that she at no point said no or said, you know, anything to suggest that she was not consenting to what was going to be happening.
Now, I will acknowledge that I did not fight him off. I will acknowledge that I froze because that is my trauma response. It was all very quick. I really did not have time to think.
She blames this on a fawn response where she freezes up and doesn't do anything, and was like completely blown away that anything would be happening between them two, which again doesn't make sense with the evidence that they had been on and off sleeping together for the last couple of years at this point, which again was very confusing for the people that had been following since her first upload about this. Finally, let's get into the actual screenshots that she had shown. Here's the first one. So Daniel says, oh, like, did I cross other lines? Dude, holy shit, did I pressure you? Naomi responds, the issue is that you kept going back and forth. You set it up, and then you'd said you'd never do it, then you said you might, then you said absolutely no. Then you turned up that night and had changed your mind yet again. You did pressure me, but at the same time, I had wanted it to happen before. On one hand, it completely Fs me up whenever you change your mind, but on the other hand, I know it's going to happen. Daniel says, I promise you, I will never change again. I know you won't believe me now, and it's on me to prove it to you. I still invited in July. And then Naomi responds, pressuring for something, making me feel like you want it, and then immediately regretting it doesn't feel good, but at least I got paid. which seems to be a reference to that kind of sugar baby relationship that they had, where she said that that's not how that works. He then responds, ouch, but yeah, fair. Do you hate me? I wouldn't blame you. Following that up, they continue the messages. They say the whole trip probably would have effed me up emotionally, but at least I was compensated for it. I know you kept saying you didn't want me to feel like you were just getting it out of your system, but clearly you were. Daniel says, I don't agree with that, but I understand. We didn't have sex, but that's not really the point with the line. So you're not wrong, but that's why I didn't want to cross that specific line. Again, I understand if you hate me. Naomi responds, I kind of wonder why you even crossed the line because you didn't commit to it, even in the moment. Seemed like you just tried to end it as fast as possible to get it over with, like you weren't allowing yourself to enjoy it. Daniel responds, because of the guilt, because a part of me was doing it because you said you cried last time I left because nothing happened, which is stupid because this made it worse. I made the wrong call both times. So he seems to be alluding to the fact that apparently she cried last time they didn't do anything in a moment like this, which is interesting. The screenshots continue where they were messaging, where Naomi says, what? I did not cry because nothing happened. And Daniel says, oh, that's what I thought. And then she says, my God, I cry because you keep changing your mind, because you tell me I'm your favorite and then ghost for months at a time, because you pop out of the woodwork and tell me you have feelings for me, and then try to pursue something with me, and then say you'll never betray her. I cry because time again and again, all throughout my life, I have always been second choice, and every time you F me around, it hits me right where it hurts. You've spent so long trying not to hurt Kayla that you've just put all that on me. Also, if you were doing it for me, then you should have put in a little more effort in regards to my pleasure, LMAO. It really felt like it was just for you. Continuing, she says, when we were talking by the pool, you asked me what my favorite part of the trip was. I said just hanging out with you, especially by the pool. You said your favorite part was the part we couldn't talk about. So what the F is this? Don't you dare try to put any of this on me. I never asked you to cheat. The last night I said I wanted to do more because you said that had been your favorite part. And then you played it like you didn't want it again. It seems only you are allowed to express any kind of lust. When I finally do it, because you've been doing it, you never like it. The main focus of these messages is that Naomi directly admits that she wanted something sexually with Daniel multiple times in these shots, and makes note of the incident that she refers to as SA in her initial video and in this one, that it wasn't SA. She didn't necessarily enjoy it to the extent that she believes Daniel did, but she even makes a note that, hey, if it was actually for the both of us, you would have put in some extra work for me. At the very least, it doesn't seem like how someone would talk about being SA'd with the person that did it to them. Now, she also makes references to these videos where she had sent somewhat of an apology video both to Daniel as well as his partner Kayla. It turns out that these two videos were actually the reason that the cease and desist that she mentions earlier happened in the first place. And everyone would find this out in Daniel Green's most recent upload, proving Naomi King lied with their own words. He goes in detail using the messages that I had shown you earlier from their interactions with Naomi, referencing the affair that they had that had been going on for years. Next up, the part where Kayla had been speaking to Naomi in regard to asking about what had happened over the 2 years, and then her following up and calling Naomi a vile, despicable human being. Kayla actually makes an appearance on this video and talks about what had happened.
Vile, despicable human being. It was that message that made it very clear to me that she had been asking him for the truth, and he was still lying.
Naomi King said in their video that I reached out to them and wanted to know the truth. That is misleading. In May, they sent me a video unprompted, wanting to apologize for what had happened. When I first saw the message, I did not want to respond right away, but I did say I would like to hear their side because I felt that was right. I deleted that message, as you can see here. Now, you might have noticed that my second response was never actually shown in either of their videos, and that is because it says this here.
Just to read that for you, I understand you feeling guilty and wanting to say something, but please just let me grieve in peace. I am trying to hold on to whatever pieces of my life I have left, and right now this just sends me into a world of hurt. I just want it to stop. I just want to be left alone.
There is no mention of sexual assault. That is because there was absolutely none in the video I received. As a survivor of sexual assault myself, I take that very seriously, and had that been there, I would have had a very very different response and conversation. The comment that followed about vile and despicable actions by both parties was not in response to me learning about sexual assault. It was in response to me learning about a consensual affair.
So from that analysis and from what Kayla is showing to us, it seems to be a conscious and clear choice to frame pieces of media that she has sent to them, like these apology videos, to make it seem like the SA did happen. I'm not a lawyer, but this does seem like a better example of someone who seems to be legitimately leaving things out to further their own agenda, and the rest of the video pretty much goes over and debunks all of the claims that she had made. And lastly, importantly, for the allegations that had originally been levied against him, in regard to him sending a cease and desist for that original video she had put, even though we also know now it was in regard to also the videos that Naomi had sent to Kayla and him, he also clarified that it was very clear, based off of things she had alluded to in that video, that she was talking about him.
And then you can see all of this come to a head in the video that made me contact legal counsel, and you will see why when Naomi King gave these thoughts.
I'm just going to use men and women as an example. You can swap the genders and not all men. That person, woman in this situation, she is consenting to an intimate experience with someone that she has trusted and is getting to know and wants to be with her in the long term, and has essentially made her feel that way emotionally. And then a lot of the times they'll fuck, and then the guy will be like, all right, peace. That's assault. You know? And then, you know, if the woman is like, well, now I feel completely used, I feel completely violated, especially when it comes to the things of, you know, you thought you were going to have some kind of sex, and then he did something that you didn't want, but then the police are like, but you consented to it. Now you're just regretting it afterwards.
Needless to say, after Naomi's second video had come out, and also a bit after this video had been released, a few apologies started popping up on Booktube from those individuals who had originally completely, you know, separated themselves from Daniel. Now, realistically, people are not super happy even with the apologies. I really like this one here. Holy, Booktube is breaking down. You guys are a lot. Lastly, the gentleman Jackson Dickert, well, he has not released a video yet responding or saying anything about his first video, although he did delete the video that he had made. His most recent video, it seems that people have followed up in their own time here. And lastly, to tie it all together, Naomi King releases a I am so sorry, oh my god video. And she basically apologizes for everything about being deceptive. Well, she doesn't apologize for being deceptive. She kind of gaslights a bit, which is strange. But she does take a lot of time to talk about how terrible she feels about what she's done, how wrong it feels for her about all the damage that she's done for any other legitimate SA victims. Again, just mind-blowing the amount of focus on her and how she's feeling, as opposed to, you know, the actual damage that she's potentially caused for other victims coming out with their stories. Now, I'm not here to soapbox or grandstand about, you know, innocent until proven guilty. I feel like every single time something like this comes up, everyone goes, innocent until proven guilty, that's why it's important. And I feel like that's kind of a duh. And I feel like that's the exact reason that I didn't make a video about this immediately. And this isn't a moment for an I told you so. This genuinely just kind of sucks that it happens. And I don't need to stand on that soapbox to feel better about myself. But I will say that I'm happy that I'm at least making the attempt to stay objective when I cover things. And when I'm not sure about all the evidence, I do my best to stay out of it to the best of my ability. I know it may not seem like that with some of the other content I cover, but I do genuinely make the effort to be objective and see both sides. And I hope that you guys enjoyed that about this channel too. But that's it for the video today. I'll see you guys later. Adios, peace, see ya, bye.